Hello, and welcome to another episode of Millionaires Are Made, the show where we believe you can be a millionaire in all six aspects of health. That's right, it's not just about your bank account, it's about building your life. We share tips every week to improve your physical, your mental, your social, your financial, your intellectual, and like today's episode, your spiritual health. Today, we're going to be focusing on gratitude to improve your spiritual health. If you've never seen Millionaires Are Made, this is the show built on the fundamental belief that every person you meet knows something that you don't, and there's something to be learned from everyone in this big, beautiful world. In the spirit of authenticity, to remove as much bias as possible, we do not talk about tips or advice or the show's content in the backstage. We only talk about how the show's going to roll and the nitty gritty of the things. So this is all going to be real, authentic tips from their real, authentic life journey. We've got three awesome guests ready to tell you all about gratitude and your spiritual health. Audience, this is a engaging show. Please, when you comment and ask questions, we ask them live. So feel free to shoot your comments and questions however you want. We also want to give a big shout out to some of our followers. Please follow us and maybe you'll be on our next show. On Facebook, Dwayne Stevens, thank you so much for supporting us. Instagram, Giovanni Ponto. I also offer one-on-one growth consultations. That link's being dropped right now. Feel free to come hang out one-on-one and I'll tell you everything I know. Next up, we have our first is they offer guided hikes through scenic Caribbean trails, blending stunning landscapes, rich history, and nature for an unforgettable journey. We also have Ross Alexander, who is a coach and a former athlete, spends his life inspiring others through public speaking, sharing strategies for coping, achieving goals, and finding your purpose in life. Super awesome guy. We've got Rachel Greenwell, helps people own their worth, power, and potential, aligning with their spiritual purpose to make a positive impact in the world. And our last sponsor for this episode is Josh Perry. Josh is a resilient leader, inspiring others to overcome challenges with determination, guiding them to reach their full potential and achieve greatness. Go check him out. And without further ado, we are going to bring out our first guest. Her name is Jessica. Jessica, tell me, who are you?
Who am I? Well, isn't that like an old question and that I want to hopefully change because I used to be so stuck in thinking that what I did was who I was. And I think we're all expanding past that, right? We're more than what we do, hopefully. However, I would like to think that I'm also showing up as the individual that does her job. It's my mission. So I'm a coach. I'm a speaker and an author, and I do my very best at leading by example. Right? I'm not saying anything or sharing anything that I haven't done myself or that I won't do myself.
Okay.
Um,
Good.
so that's who I am.
That's who you are. All right. Well, that was an important question, but I've got a real important question for you. If I wanted to improve my spiritual health with gratitude, which is a very big buzzword nowadays, What
Yes.
tiny piece of advice would you give me?
Well, gratitude to me now is to be thankful in knowing that everything is always going to work out for my best, my higher and greater purpose. Because I know now through my own work that I am leading with my heart and then my mind,
Okay,
no longer my ego self.
good.
So with that, I know that like I say, I live in gratitude. I wake up every morning. I say thank you because I know that I'm being guided, and I mean it's actually a a bigger answer, and I'm trying to condense that a little bit. I will just say again, just being thankful, knowing that there's more than uh, the pain, the guilt, all the things that we go through. There's more than that. So I'm very grateful in knowing that and that I can pursue the other side to things.
All right, all right. And somewhere in there, you said that everything is going to work out for you, right? So there's a new word and belief I've been playing with lately called pronoia, which is basically
Okay.
the opposite of paranoia, which is the belief that everything's out to get you. So if you haven't heard that, pronoia, everything's going to work out for you. Jessica, where on your life journey did you learn this information?
So, I had to severely crash and burn. And without going into the big, huge story, supposedly, like I had it all by society's like standards of things, like I played to the rule book, did the road to success, married with children. I was a fashion designer, and I ended up getting sick. So I had chronic health issues, which ended up fast forward, went to street drugs, lost everything, homeless, and yeah, I mean, spiritual warfare is a big one. I was in a very, very, very dark place, and I was given the opportunity, really, like you're either going to sink or you're going to swim. So you have a decision, just like we all do, to get up, not have the answers necessarily, but this is where my gratitude, my faith, and my knowing comes in. I didn't have this before. And this is why I do what I do now, is that I don't believe we need to crash and burn to get here. Um, because this is readily available to all of us if we decide to go, I want something different right here, right now. Right. But I had to unlearn so much of the stuff that all of us in this world grow up learning. But
Yeah.
we all can. We can replace it with a totally new norm and a new way of being, should you decide to do it.
Should you decide to do it? Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jessica. We'll bring you back out for the round robin. We're going to move on to our next guest, who is Dr. Joe. Dr. Joe, who are you?
Hello, everyone. My name's Dr. Joe Vertino. Um, well, I guess the simplest answer is why do I get to be called a doctor? And I can go with that. I'm a what's called, well, there's a lot of information in there, but what isn't, it looks like, is what I'm saying. So that's good. I'm a Reiki master, which is the optimum healing modality that we have available to us. So thus the title doctor, and that's something that I am. As it says on the screen, I'm also a philosopher, music lover. I'm a Zen Buddhist spiritual guide, is my official title. Being spiritual guide would be the correct. What I tell the people is if I was at a function, it'd say my name, Dr. Joe, and then under it, what is your title? It would say spiritual guide. I'm also an author and a musician, and I have a book called The Reform of the Education System. And so that's a big thing of who am I? Um, Someone that's willing to actually achieve that, I think is a cool thing to say. of who I am, because that there's a lot of variables in that lined up for me, and they stay there. They stuck like my lumbar or something, right? So in that sense of someone who understands, and then also in that understanding there's a realistic perspective that you're not projecting onto with your perspective, right? So you have to take that in, and then after you do that, then you can kind of what is appropriate for me to help with that, right? And then basically that's some objective truth that applies to everyone, some spiritual guidance in there. So that's my answer to that. A lot of stuff, but yeah.
I love it. You went real in depth. That's awesome. Awesome. All right, let's see what you got to say about this, Dr. Joe. If I wanted to improve my spiritual health with gratitude, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
What tiny piece of advice to improve my spiritual life with gratitude? Well, I would say knowing your own worth is something that goes over people's heads. So at this point in your life, listen, knowing your own worth. So at this point in your life, right? No one else's life, your life. Allow yourself to stop and allow the truth to kind of not go over your head, but kind of you catch it, right? So that I mean, me being here, I do know your worth in that way, as someone that it's a ineffable, irrevocable, and unexpressible, even for someone who loves language, right? And that's really what you are in that way, and outside of worthiness based in cause and effect, right? So that's may that be your your healing in there, that truth that I'm residing in right now. And that healing is something that happens, and some people would say it's a grace that happens on its own, right? That it's something and there's so in that it's less of a I have to do something to achieve something, right? Which a lot of times I know, as someone who has been suicidal before, that's directly linked to suicidality. And obviously we if we're in the place of suicidality, trying to force yourself to be different can make it worse. So the mercy in that is just know that I know your worth, and I'm a good person. I'm alive, and I'm going on the air, and I'm doing all this stuff, and I can only be and speak from that place that being myself, and you can too. And for yourself, there's nothing that can take that away. That's just they call in the Constitution the inalienable rights, right? And even if we didn't have a constitution, that would still be there. That would still be true. It's a universal truth, and obviously God's will. So in context of gratefulness, because we all want to be truly authentic, and that true gratefulness instead of fake gratefulness, right? So how does that happen? It happens through the advice I'm giving in there is letting yourself resonate with how you always have been. So instead of all of this stuff of I'm trying to make something happen, which it's neutral. It's not a bad thing to make something happen, but understand that what you have made happen so far in your life that's good has already been achieved, and what you have tried to make happen that wasn't right has already been an error. So all of that is already the case. So then being in that merciful place, and then that's it. And that vibration will begin to genuine gratefulness will be born in that.
Okay. Where on your life journey did you learn this?
Well, I feel that, I mean, in my soul that's true, that's there. And as people who are familiar with that would basically already know what I'm going to say, in the sense that your soul is been around, that it's eternal, and has all these experiences, and in those experiences it being there as kind of like a memory, even though we don't remember all our past lives or the situations, the experiences that we have, they get stuck in there, right? In the sense that there's a memory in the soul. And I would say that wisdom for everybody, not just Dr. Joe, is the same case, right? And then, but you being here and alive now, I mean, obviously that the choices that you're making now, you know, is is the continuity of your soul, and basically knowing that and allowing that to be true and not having any resistance to that truth. And I'll say particularly the second half, that the choices that you're making now, they matter, that there's consequences, you matter, everyone, and then getting to a place where you understand how everyone matters. So I would say it comes from that place of understanding in myself, and then obviously being able and then making choices that were good enough to help me to live unto this place right here and now with you, I guess would be where it came from. Uh, it's like I went with the easy answer that I know is correct instead of being the risky one, but I might get better points kind of thing on that one.
No, it's all good. It's all good. All right, Dr. Joe, we're going to move on to our next guest. Thank you
Yes,
so
sir.
much. We're going to bring out Bonnie here. Bonnie, can you tell me who you are?
Hey, Austin, how you doing? Happy Wednesday.
Yeah.
Do you see me on the video? Beautiful. There we go. It's wonderful weather in Florida. So, I am Bonnie. I am a life enhancement coach with the emphasis on mindset, motivation, and mental health. And I do practice gratitude on a daily basis. And I have like a little meme type thing for the word gratitude. So that is in the first letter. Gratitude is realizing all things in time ultimately develop excellence. So
Ooh.
gratitude is yeah, ultimately all things gratefully realizing all things in time ultimately develop excellence. So I practice gratitude on a regular basis. Yeah, and that cool? It's kind of mind blowing, isn't it? Took me a little bit to figure all that out, but what I challenge people, I challenge people to name 5 things every day. Do that every day for a month, and you're going to have over 150 things that you are grateful for. Something good. When you're driving to work, you have all the green lights. That's good. If you park very, very close to like the bank or the supermarket, like that. So I'm all being anti-judging. I'm all about lifting people up. Being nice to people. Just the little things in life. Bonnie is all about basically.
All right, Bonnie. I've got a very important question for you. If I wanted to improve my spiritual health with gratitude, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
Well, what I would give you, just look for the good things in life and be grateful for any small thing that happens, and look out for other people too. And just like I said, just basically be grateful that you woke up today, because a lot of people didn't, and just realize that everything's going to end up okay. Okay.
Definitely going to be okay. All right, where on your life journey did you learn this information? How did you get that gratitude acronym?
Kind of different ways, because I myself I've judged I've dealt with anxiety, depression, PTSD. So, but I do know that I do have a lot of some people in my position, and there are other people that are worse off than me. There are people that are much better off than me, obviously. But I do realize that stuff happens. One of my mentors is bottom to rock side. Things are they're gonna get better, and what are your goals for your life? What do you want to do? And figure out what you want to do with your life to make it better, and just keep going with that, and just tell yourself you're a good person. I believe in everybody. Everybody's a good person.
Awesome.
Most everybody else. Than
Well, thank you so much, Bonnie. We're going to bring everyone out now and do a little round robin here. Can you quickly refresh what your tip was for us?
So what did I say? So basically, I mean, my biggest take on where I've been and where I am now is everything that I grew up with kept me kind of in a negative state. I always kind of played a victim, really. Like, why is this happening to me? I was so dark and deep in depression and so many negative. When we turn that around, we can live in a gratitude state of mind and being, because life is still going to happen to us, but things will always work out for our best, right? Even if
Right.
the even if something's happening to us, if you can work yourself out of it, then you can and you will. So be thankful for that in knowing that, because that's actually a powerful thing if you know that you're going to be okay, and be thankful and
Yeah.
grateful.
Dr. Joe, what are your thoughts on Jessica's tip?
Well, uh, I mean, I was hearing her talk about her as a healer. I just tuned in with, I mean, my instincts. I heard her talking about her personal life and difficulties she has had and different stuff like that, and obviously ways to from her personal experience, um, which a lot of people like scientists would say is really the best thing to go with, right? Our personal experience, um, and I thank you, man, for speaking so openly. Obviously, we don't have to speak that openly about our personal experiences, and particularly difficulties and adversities that we've had. Um, and to me, that is that vibration is very very helpful. Obviously, and I support your tip giving, obviously, with that. Um, so I think that's lovely, and that the impulse for everyone to be themselves, to be authentic, to use the word of it, is something that can never be diminished. The impulse can never be diminished, but unfortunately, the life can be lived in a way out of alignment, right, with it, and that's really the thing. That to talk in an objective way, um, and obviously all the tips that people are giving are in alignment with that, because that's what we're all in. It's called being alive,
Mm.
right? And then recognizing that we need help is really the thing. So people tuning into this, they're in that place of recognition already, and then us are where they answer, right? So they, oh yay, right? So I just feel that it's important, even though there's issues in the world, it's important to allow yourself to be present and allow some celebration, right? Oh, I found some help with these people like Jessica and Bonnie and Austin and Dr. Joe, right? And to allow that just to right? So wonderful. Thank you.
Bonnie, what are your thoughts on Jessica's tip?
Great tips, Jessica. I really like them, and thank you for your vulnerability and honesty. And yeah, just realize that no matter on, it will get better. And I do appreciate listening to you today, Jessica. So great, you did a good job. Did a good job.
Thank you.
Hey, Dr. Joe, can you refresh
Mhm.
us what your tip was?
Yes. Okay. So my tip, let me see. Uh, it was I mentioned mercy and then also um, about gratefulness. Okay. So allowing yourself to let go of the attempt to achieve. So I'm being grateful to get better at something like there's a to-do list expectation. So allowing that to leave, right, and then you still being there and you still wanting to be grateful, right? So that's my tip generally, that it isn't about achieving, right? Like we go to the store, I'm getting up to go to the store, and my destination is goal based, which is supposed to be, right? I'm going and I have a list for the store, so that's appropriate, right? But allowing that in context of you and your spiritual evolution, in context of gratefulness, let go of that to-do list, let go of the checklist. That's my tip. So
All
freeing
right.
yourself up in that way. Yeah.
All right. Jessica, what are your thoughts on Dr. Joe's tip?
So what I heard was So what we are accustomed to doing, right, is to pushing, striving to succeed. And that's kind of an old way of doing things, and more of allowing, because what is yours is going to come to you because it's yours, and what is meant for you and your highest version of yourself. So to allow things to come to you and not push and strive to try to achieve things.
All right.
That's what I heard. I don't know if that's what Dr. Joseph meant, but that's what I heard from that.
All right, Bonnie, what can you refresh what your tip was for us?
Yeah, my tip is to just wake up being grateful every day that you did wake up the way you were, where you live. Holidays coming up, and you can hopefully see your family and have a great time and have a lot less. So just be grateful that you woke up and you're still in this world, and that people are inspired by you and people are motivated by seeing you every day.
All right, we got a question from the audience. What daily habits can help me to cultivate gratitude in my life?
I have
Well,
something
for
like on my
me,
tongue. Go ahead, Bunny. I'll speak after.
well, yeah, just for 5th grade, or just keep that up on a regular basis, and that you're gonna work your gratitude muscle very easily when you start doing that.
Dr. Joe?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Bunny. I think that, well, there is something that I have to mention. There's something called the 5 Reiki principles, and this is a practice is really what it is for everybody, absolutely everybody. The 5 Reiki principles, there's 5 of them, and basically what you do in the morning is you take out some time, and really it could be not much longer than 5 minutes. It would seem like a long time, but it could get you get into a place of contemplation. I guess it could be time consuming. So the 5 Reiki principles are just for today, I will not worry. Just for today, I will not be angry. Just for today, I will do my work honestly. Just for today, I'll be grateful. And just for today, I'll be kind to all living beings. So these 5 Reiki principles are God's gift in that way. Instead of kind of expecting right miracles, but as you practice, people that actually genuinely practice will will would side with me on this one, that it gets rid of that ignorance in yourself that is a waste of energy and mind space of I'm expecting God to fix everything with miracle thing, right, in my personal life. So as you do this practice, you start to get into a place in yourself where that victimhood energy, to use an extreme word, starts to dissolve. And but and also I'll add this gratefulness. Allow yourself to take the view off of your person, off of yourself, off of even your own life eventually as you're practicing. So what I recommend is you don't have to quite close your eyes and meditate, but what it is if you sit outside like Austin is, and something that I've done in that way is allow your eyes in particular, usually, right, your eyesight, to focus on something that's beautiful. You're not trying to make, so don't look at something if you don't think it's beautiful and try and make yourself grateful for it. But look at something that's beautiful, and preferably not a person or in that way, but like a flowers, right? Nature, something that isn't jutting about, moving around like a boat on the water, something that's not going to run away. And the reason I said not people is feel oh, that woman's beautiful, and then you go into this, you want to marry her, or it reminds you of something horrible. So flowers are genuinely a good one, and allowing yourself to be at that place and just recognize, hey, and that it's okay to be grateful for that thing right there, right?
All right,
And
guys, we're at the point in
that
our show where we need to come up with our daily challenge. It's got to be an activity to improve our spiritual health with gratitude. It takes less than 5 minutes a day, costs $0, and is available to anyone in the world. What ideas do you guys have?
Personally, I live by writing down in my journal, in my gratitude journal. I am, yeah, every day I notice what I am allowed to do. My old self was in a very depressed state, victimhood, and this is the opposite of that, right? So if you can write down the little things, then you'll start to receive the bigger things. But we have to like come down to earth for a second, if you will, to recognize, that I have water that I can drink. I was homeless and now I'm in my own home, right? Because I built from the small things, I was able to increase in that way because I no longer looked outside of myself saying, well, that person has that and I don't. I'm grateful that I was able to start with nothing to build upon that. And everybody can build wherever they are. So I don't know if that answered the question or not. The gratitude.
I mean, I guess write in a gratitude journal. I mean, our daily challenge, we could just write down 5 things you're grateful for. That'd be a simple one. Everyone okay with that? All right. I hear no. Cool. We've got our daily challenge. Write down 5 things you're grateful for every day. If you guys are okay with that, then that'll wrap up our show. Thank you all for coming on and enlightening us. And we will hopefully see you in a future show. And thank you so much in the audience. That concludes another episode of Millionaires Are Made. We did our spiritual health and gratitude, and our daily challenge is to write down 5 things that you are grateful for every day.